Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Closing Comments here on August 28th. Let's jump right into our charts and see what happened in the markets today. For starters, we got our October live cattle on the board. Finally saw some downside in this cattle market after we've had about 10 straight days of upside here. This cattle market doing nothing but green closes all the way up here for the last couple of weeks. So finally getting a pullback underway here, it looks like at the moment. This market's had a very impressive rally over the last couple months here, running all the way up to new record highs here at 242.07 on this October contract. Today we did get a little bit of rejection coming in. We did see price balancing out early, making a brief run up there to the 240 mark, hitting resistance there at the mid-range or at the midpoint of yesterday's range. So a good spot to be finding resistance there if this pullback were to follow through, and that's exactly what we saw happen. Finally did get that sell-off in the last hour of the day coming in, breaking down back below that 238 level and getting a close below our prior day's low there at 237.65. Briefly undercut the 237 mark today, finishing the day right there at 237.07. At the moment, with this close below prior day low, looks like we could see this pullback finally get underway. This market has been resilient over the last 2 months, so how much downside we see from here remains to be seen. We'll have to see. First stop on the way down is going to be last week's point of control, which is going to be right here around this 235 point. We do have just kind of a loose range here in the 234 to 235 half mark of this prior week's point of control, the area that we tested right off that opening range on Monday. We could see that level retested tomorrow. Look for price to come down here and see how it responds to the 235 mark. If we do just happen to cut right through that point of control from last week, next stop is going to be this 232 area, which was our prior this range we traded in for a couple weeks here. Top end in this 232 to 232.75 area, and this rising 20-day moving average is going to be the next stop after that. We'll have to wait and see how much downside comes from here. We have seen some pretty nasty sell-offs here with some near limit days and a couple limit days back here in the early part of August and late part of July. So we do want to be cautious as with this big run up we've had, we could see it kind of unwind here fairly quickly back down here into the low 230s. So be ready for some volatility as we head into tomorrow if we do get some follow through downside below 237 tomorrow. This big picture uptrend still remains intact. We expect to see any dips come from here be buying opportunities. Dips should be bought up. We do have plenty of support with these rising moving averages and demand zones and levels down here along the way. At the moment, this is very early in this pullback, so we'll have to wait and see if it even follows through, as this market has just shrugged off any sort of red days over the last few weeks here and kept on marching. So if this thing reverses and gets back above 238, we could just keep on cruising like this market has over the last couple of months. But coming off of these overextended levels and this close below prior day low is a pretty good opportunity here for this market to cool off a little bit, which is much needed after this impressive run. So dips should be buying opportunities. We're just going to have to wait and see how long and how deep it lasts from here, but be looking for a dip to come from here, and we should be seeing some good buying opportunities here late in the summer as we head into the fall run. Jumping over to the feeders now. This market also pulling back here today. Not a big range day, but definitely seeing some downside. Rejecting at the middle point of yesterday's range. We did see this feeder market selling off a little bit more late in the day and briefly undercutting that bear pivot yesterday. Today we did get that follow through to the downside, putting in a low of the day down there at 360.82. Did see the selling pressure come in and get a close below that prior day low. So a little volatility here, just a little bit of a pullback here. Nothing major at the moment, but we should see some follow through downside here. Next stop for this market is going to be that point of control as well from our prior week, which is going to be in the 358 area. It's kind of a with the ranges we've been trading in, we could see about a $2 range here, anywhere from 357 up to 359. Could be a spot we could find support at, but this point of control coming in here right below this 358 area is going to be where this market's going to run to first if we get some follow through selling in tomorrow's session. And below that, we could come back down here and hit the 350 mark, retest this rising 20-day moving average and these prior all-time highs that we tested multiple times back here in early to mid August. That kept us capped for a few days here back in the early part of August, and so that 349 to 350 level is going to be the next spot for support. Beyond that, still have plenty of downside all the way down to this 50-day moving average that we could pull back to and still remain in this big picture uptrend. This market should keep on cruising into the fall. We do expect to see these dips be buying opportunities, but like those fat cattle, how deep and how far, how long the pullback is going to last remains to be seen. We're just going to take it a day at a time here at the moment. But as we head into tomorrow's session, look for this market to keep on with this, keep coming down with this pullback, and be looking forward to some good buying opportunities over the next few weeks when this market is able to find some support. However, in the meantime, if we do just see this market reverse and get back above that 362.77 area, we could just see this trend keep on rolling, as we have seen just some relentless strength here in demand by the bulls, and any sort of downside we see has been immediately bought up, and hasn't even been able to make it back to this 20-day moving average here in about 2 months now. So we'll have to wait and see how the bulls are looking to respond to this move tomorrow. But at the moment, given this long rally we've had, this market is a little overdone, a little frothy at the moment, and would be a pullback would be welcome for healthy market action here. But like I said, we do expect to see dips be buying opportunities going forward. Over to the December corn futures now. We did see this market reverse course a little bit today. We did see some downside falling through early, all the way down to that 403 half area before reversing hard into the close today, finishing up the day up there back above that bear pivot at 409.75. So at the moment, as long as we're trading in this supply zone that we bounced off of earlier in the week, we are just kind of in hands off at the moment below 409 in this bull pivot or a bear pivot. We do expect to see that downside continue. However, at the moment, it looks like we could be seeing a little bit of accumulation happening at the moment. And one thing we'll have to be looking out for as we head into next week, if we don't get any continuation below 410 here, we'll have to keep an eye on this 50-day moving average, as we could see this downtrend be coming to an end here if we get some bids above that. But in the meantime, we'll have to wait and see how this market finishes up the week tomorrow. Crude oil markets rising back up a little bit here today, pushing up into the mid 60s to mid 64s. Briefly getting close to that 50-day moving average today. Still not a whole lot of excitement. This market's just been trading in a pretty tight range all week long. Nothing really to be excited about at the moment. This market's just been pretty choppy and very little volatility. It's just a great environment for a choppy, directionless market, and that's exactly what we've been seeing recently in this crude oil market. So look for this market to continue hanging out here in the mid to low 60s at the moment until we trade back above 65 on this 50-day moving average. We do expect to see this market to continue a slow bleed lower, but in the event of bids above 65, we could see this thing push back up there into the high 60s and just kind of stay range bound here again for a while. Equity markets making some nice upside here today. The S&P closing at new all-time highs, which is a good sign for the bulls out there. This market had a good support over the last week or so here at this 20-day moving average. Been fighting a battle the last couple of days trying to chew through the 6,500 level and dealing with some negative earnings on Nvidia that's causing a little bit of this market to just kind of dance around here at the moment. But nice breakout to new record highs. Nice strong close today up there. Just off of those highs. The NASDAQ is still lagging a little bit here as we didn't make it back to the all-time highs yet, but good supportive action and breaking out of this 3-day range we've been trading in all week, the first 3 days of this week. We've been kind of stuck in a range there, trading right around this 20-day moving average. Nice break up there, close at new weekly highs, and this market should be heading up there towards new all-time highs in this NASDAQ index as well. The Dow balancing out a little bit more here, but just hanging out right off those all-time highs. Equity markets still remain strong, very strong environment for stocks. Stay long and strong here as these equity markets should continue climbing here into the fall. That's all we got for tonight. Everyone have a good evening.